Good evening. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
sir.
Good evening. It's very nice that in Zoom these days they say recording in progress and you have to hit got it. It's very interesting that same happens internally because sometimes even unintentionally, it's like we start to record things and everything, whatever is happening outside, we begin to record it inside. And what happens is, all those recordings are what we call as memories. And, when I started this journey of meditation, then one aspect that, was kind of grilled into us every day was that you have to remember. You have to remember. So what do you have to remember? You have to remember who you are. That's what been kind of grilled every day. To remember your relationship with the divine. Remember your truth, identity, where you have come from, why you're here. And I was like, yeah, that's so easy to remember. What's the difficult part in this? Why has it been drilled every single day? Then later I realized that actually remembering and accessing that deepest core of who I really am and experiencing it, and I'm becoming an embodiment of it. It's a journey more than the journey of remembering. I felt it's more to do with the journey of forgetting. It's just like there's so many layers of false identity that we have created around us that doesn't allow us to remember our truth so easily. And so this was last year when there was few days then, when this thing was coming up about remembering in our daily class in meditation. And then this thought emerged that how about to explore the power to forget? And so then this whole thing came about forget to remember. Means in order for me to remember completely, in order for me to remember, I need to forget. I need to be able to let go. They say let go and then let God. So in order to let God means in order to remember God, I need to let go, means I need to forget. And this whole aspect came up. And then this tried to kind of dive a little bit into the scientific aspect of forgetting, and then realize that forgetting is actually very, very important, even scientifically. So today the thought was to, discuss a little bit. It's an open discussion, a little bit about the scientific aspect of forgetting, and then some of the spiritual practices that may help us in creating that attitude of just letting go, forgetting. And then we can have some meditation and some sharings and question answer. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So says not the power to remember, but its very opposite. The power to forget is a necessary condition for our existence. It's a very interesting quote, because if I were to remember each and every detail, even today, whatever happened since the morning, so the brain is wired in order to forget things. So since our, if we say since the moment we were born, there have been so many memories, so many seconds, and every second there's something happening. But if I were to remember each and everything, I wouldn't be able to exist, right? And we know that we're not only just this lifetime, but maybe previous lives as well. And it's so interesting that the moment we come into this life, we actually automatically forget about our previous lives. So his power to forget is a necessary condition for our existence. And so its power to forget is something that the human mind is blessed with. It's not something that I have to work on too much. What I need to work on is what to remember and what to forget. So generally what happens is we tend to remember what we should forget. So we tend to remember something that has given me sorrow, for example. And this morning we were listening to the word this thorn, thorn. So if someone has pricked me, or if I have been pricked, if I have felt a feeling of hurt or pain, right, I tend to remember it. That is something I should forget. And we tend to forget what we should remember. My truth, my identity. If I've forgotten who I am, it's like a person, in on a train or a journey, and before the journey we take a ticket. We know what's our destination, but during the course of the journey, if I forget what's my destination, then what's my journey gonna be like? So it's like I forget what I should remember. In the same with the journey of life, what is my destination? What is my purpose of life? And this is something he always asked. And I was, as a child growing up in India, I always felt, and I used to ask myself this question, Saurabh, what is the purpose of your life? What is the purpose of your life? And I used to wonder, what is really the purpose of my life? But when I came into this, meditation, and realized that my purpose in life is to be myself, is to be my true self, and just enjoy this play of life, and just be an instrument so that the divine can share his love with everyone. And when I realized that this is the purpose, then I felt, yeah, this is what I need to remember every single day. Every single day. And so it's the journey of remembering and forgetting. It's so much, intertwined with each other. And that's why whenever in meditation, we all, like, we did such a beautiful commentary. We were meditating together. It was about, allowing God to give me solutions. And that happens when I have allowed God's energy to come in. And when do I allow God's energy to come in? When I have space in my heart, in my mind, for that energy to come in. So I need to create that space. Like in our childhood when we were growing up, these days there's no blackboard, but in those days we used to have a blackboard and a chalk, like a white chalk with which the teacher used to write. And every single morning, I remember one of us would used to just clean the blackboard so that the teacher could come and write. So my heart, my mind, I need to just clean up, forget everything else, and just allow the divine God to come and write the solution on my mind, in my heart. And so this remembering and forgetting is such an integral part of our meditation experience. And so the more I dive into forgetting, I'm able to enhance the quality of my meditation. So let's look into some of the science behind this. So recently, there's been a study that has been published in a journal called Neuron. It says that scientists say that being forgetful is actually a sign of higher intelligence. We have been trained generally that you're intelligent if you are able to retain or memorize things better. But of late, scientists are realizing it's about the power to forget, which is a sign of higher intelligence. Because the real purpose of memory is the optimization of decision making. So if I'm able to let go, if I'm able to forget, then my mind is free, right? And then I can easily be in the moment and able to make decisions, very appropriate, wise decisions, because then I've optimized. So forgetting allows me to optimize my decision making. And people with the best memories tend to forget about relatively unnecessary details. So they know how to prioritize. It's like just in our mailbox also, right? These days we have so many folders. We have a main folder, then we have a spam folder. And the setting generally is such that if any spam mail comes or a junk email comes, it goes into that folder automatically. So that prioritization. So if I realize something which is not important for me, like a bad situation, something that has given me pain, someone saying something which has hurt me, generally I tend to replay it over and over again, right? But if I create that spam folder inside the mind, and anytime that thing comes, I just put it, go to spam, go to spam. That's fine. Anything important, and what is important? Uh, it's like the virtues of everyone. It's like the fragrance that comes from the beauty of every soul. Let me just fill my inbox with those beautiful emails. And everything that can have a virus these days, right? There's so many viruses and hackers, right? So that's what illusion tries to do. It tries to hack the real experience. And so for me to prioritize, right, in that way is so important. So in science, it's a nice video, just sharing a little bit about the power to forget. So let us just watch it together.
You go to the supermarket with a list of items in your head. However, as soon as you enter the store, you realize that at least one or two things from the list have slipped your mind. Have you ever gone into your kitchen with no idea at all of why you went there? These situations might be irritating, but you should stop blaming yourself for being forgetful. According to scientists, forgetting things may be a sign of exceptional intelligence. The journal Neuron conducted a study that proved how forgetting things is a natural brain process. And this very process can make you way smarter. The paradox lies in the fact that a perfect memory doesn't always indicate high intelligence. Yeah, you have to accept this. If you remember a lot of stuff, it doesn't mean you're brighter than anyone else. The brain resembles a computer in more ways than you might think. It has a sort of hard drive, aka the hippocampus, where your memories are stored. This part of the brain filters out unnecessary details. By doing this, it optimizes your memory storage. As a result, you remember things that are really important and forget insignificant details. Naturally, your brain can't make its own decisions about what you should forget and what should stay in your mind. It keeps your newest memories, but at the same time, sometimes has to rewrite existing ones. When too many memories accumulate in your brain, they start to conflict with one another. This creates chaos, which makes it hard for you to make the right decision. That's why people who are smarter than the rest tend to forget unimportant details. Their brain just does an excellent job of getting rid of the clutter and holding on to important memories. As you can see, being forgetful is more of an advantage than a weakness.
Right. So being forgetful is more of an advantage than a weakness. It's like, just like in phones also, right? These days, when the memory gets full, we have to format it or delete the unnecessary files that may be too large in size. We just have to delete them. I remember a few months back, my mailbox was almost getting full. And then I realized there were some emails that I had stored which were not important, but that had large attachments, right? And then I had to delete them. In the same way, so large attachments, like emotional attachments that are there in the mind that I've stored, I need to delete them so that I can be light, easy, and just have a very clear decision making, very clean mind. So let's try and understand what is a memory and how does it get created, right? So just like we have Zoom recording, we have this inner recording going on. And how does a memory get stored? It's like whatever is happening in this three-dimensional movie, let us just feel that this is a three-dimensional movie in front of my eyes, right? And I'm recording it scene by scene. And the proof of it is, so if I think about what happened this morning, what happened, everything will be just playing in my mind, which means I've recorded it somewhere inside. And sometimes this recording even comes up as dreams, right? Because this mind or this being is an amazing recorder, amazing recorder. It's probably, the most powerful recorder, more powerful than any other recording that we know of. But the interesting thing is, how do I record? It is through a filter of the way I see, the way I perceive. So my reality, the way I perceive my reality, is what is stored in my memory. So reality that I choose to observe. So what is reality? So scientists say these days that brain is more like a prediction engine. Prediction engine means that it's not just a reality out there that I'm perceiving, but actually I'm altering the experience of the reality based on my programming inside. So the way I program it, if I want to see good in some situation, then my reality, my experience is something good out of, and that is what I will store in my memory. So what it tells us is that we have all the power to choose how do I want to record my memory. It's not the reality out there, but I choose to create my reality based on my inner programming. And that's how I create my memories. And so I have all the control of editing, deleting my memory because I have recorded it. And so this how do I create this emotional weight that I attach, right? That huge attachments? There is a structure which is in science, in neuroscience, they say it's over here. It is called amygdala. And that's where also there's the seat of the soul, the being of light, that we are controlling this computer and this body in a very interesting way. Right? And this structure attaches emotional weight to memories. So this is how I create my reality based on my programming. And this side here is the core that creates that programming. And so once I have created, so if I have emotionally gotten very attached to that scene, then it is difficult to forget. Right? But if I haven't attached myself emotionally that much, if the size of the attachment is small versus the size of the attachment is big, if the size of the attachment is small, I can easily let go and forget. So it's in my control. It's in my hand. Interestingly, there's been another scientific study about people who work with advertisements, who create ad films. And I still remember there have been many ads that I remember since my childhood days. And the way they brand the ad is like this. So a key emotional moment often triggers memory encoding shortly afterwards. Means if I stimulate myself emotionally, if I get stimulated by watching the ad, then it's more likely to stay in my memory. So emotional intensity is followed by a window of opportunity for getting something into memory. And so in this plot, what they're showing is this red line is a surprise emotion, and this blue line is the memory encoding. So this peak in emotion that came first led to this memory encoding. In the same way, another emotion, curiosity emotion, if there is a higher curiosity, then there is a memory encoding. And so again, all of these kind of prove this fact that our memory is linked with the kind of emotional attachment, right, that I create. And so this is very good news because it's all in now my hands to forget. Right? So forgetting is very easy because it's in my hand. And I can easily edit, I can easily trim, just like we trim a video. These days, there's so many tools to edit a video, and we have all been experienced about it these days, right? Because everything is online. We all create videos these days. Just like I trim a video, I can trim a memory. And I make it easy to forget so that my mind is free. I'm more in the moment, more available, right? So let's look into this forgetting, and let us now look into a little bit of the spiritual side of things. And when we say forget, so what is it that I'm forgetting? So I'm not forgetting, I'm not just completely forgetting means I don't know, anything about my identity or role. But what I am forgetting here is the emotional pain or attachment. Just like in the email, right? Deleting all the attachments, huge attachments that take up so much space. So kind of forgetting it, letting it go, past memories, old memories. Sometimes those memories, what they do is, if I've had a bad experience with a friend, for example, and I'm not able to forget, the next time I meet them, I still am in the emotional frame of mind. And that doesn't allow that relationship to move on, right? Sometimes I create that labels or judgments, opinions of others. What this one is thinking about me, what other person is thinking about me. Many times that is what occupies the mind a lot. Corporeal feelings. This is a very interesting tool. Corporeal feelings means feelings or that get created when I think, when I fall into what we call as role consciousness, right, or body consciousness. Means I become very limited in my vision of life, and then it's like I'm very prone to being hurt by anyone and everyone. Right? Those are corporeal feelings. Sometimes we call it the flow of feelings. Sometimes it's very easy for someone to come into the feeling, to take things personally, to feel offended. Right? So all these things are something that we want to just get rid of completely. Effect of actions means I have performed an action, but I carry that action even after I have moved on. Right? That thing that it's like that inner commentary kind of goes on and on and on. So all of these things, what they do is they occupy the memory track. And so clearing this memory track of the clutter is what this is all about. I forget. So let us now look into some of the realizations that have helped me. Actually, I'll probably just share a few that have helped me over the last few years in being able to forget something that I don't want my memory track to hold on to. So one realization that I've had is about waking up and coming out of the dream. It's this whole realization of waking up. So when I'm asleep, when I'm fast asleep, and I'm in a dream, so when I'm in the experience of the dream, what happens is I feel that dream is real, right? And I have emotions about it. Sometimes if it's a nightmare, I even may have, right? I may be sweating. But the moment I get up, the moment I wake up, what happens? I realize, oh, it was a dream. It was a dream. Suddenly I realize, oh no, this is morning. I have to get up, get ready, take my coffee, go to my work, for example. Right? It's like two separate kind of experiences, distinct experiences. And so if I can, whatever the memories, if I have to forget, so if I realize that I created those memories, there's no one else who created, I created, because I chose to look at that scene in a particular way. So I created But when I created those memories, my mind was in a dream state. Means I wasn't aware of the reality, the truth of life, that we are all spiritual beings, that we are all brothers, we're all spiritual travelers on eternal journey through time. This reality, this truth. I wasn't living it at that time. I was in a dream state. So what I can do now is I can just wake up, as if I'm just waking up to my true reality. And when I wake up, then I choose to just look at that same scene, but with the waking up reality. And then I realize it's just a dream. And when I realize it's a dream, it doesn't have any grip on my mind anymore. So let us just take a moment and practice this right now. If there's any memory that I may have created, which I want to let go, it could be any scene, situation, interaction, anything. So let me realize that I wake up to the reality. The reality is that I am a spiritual being through a human experience. The reality is that I existed before this physical costume took shape. I realize that everyone in that scene is also a spiritual being. I realize we're all brothers. This is a drama, a play going on. We are actors in it. Just wake up to this reality. And just label that scene as a dream, a dream, a dream. And I'm just able to disengage emotionally from that scene. Another realization that I had recently is don't make unimportant things important. Right? Many times this is what, when in the dream state, that's what happens. Is I tend to make unimportant things important. And what is important, what is unimportant. And then this realization came up is whatever is invisible is important. Because invisible is powerful. Just like the seed is invisible, but it holds the entire expansion of the tree within it. But I can't see the seed. I can only see the tree. But if there is something happening in the tree, I have to rectify it, I have to water or make sure it is nourished properly, the seed, the roots. Invisible is important. In a relationship, what is important is this exchange of loving energy of respect, which may not be visible, right, through to the eyes, but that invisible energy is important. We're all connected right now. How are we connected? Through the invisible power of the internet. You can't see it, but it is important. In the same way, I realize that if I'm giving too much importance to the visible aspect of my life, it is important, but more important is the invisible, which drives the visible. So I realized that it's very easy for me to let go of the visible when I just focus on the invisible and then just allow the visible to flow. Focus here and flow. I allow it to flow. So I don't make unimportant things important. And then it's very easy for me to put all the important things in a separate folder, right? And just from time to time, just keep on deleting it. And also emptying the recycle bin, right? So that it just gets deleted permanently. Another realization that has helped me over the years is this. We say stretch the time. Because my memories are actually quite linked with the time. my sense of time. The decisions I make in my life are also based on my sense of time. For example, right? It's like this awareness of time is very important. It's like if I have an examination tomorrow, for example, if I'm a student, and if I go out on a party the night before and I haven't prepared, then it may not be the best decision to make if I haven't prepared well. But if I forget that there is an examination tomorrow, then I may make that decision to go out. So when I stretch the time, when I realize what is going to come, then my decisions are like that. So my sense of decisions is based on my understanding of time. And so one thing that I worked on was that, okay, something, if it is bothering me, then let me ask myself, how much this, whatever someone said to me, okay, it may be hurtful, but how much will it be important after 5 years? How much will it be important after 10 years? How much will it be important after 50 years? And how much will it be important after I go to another costume to play another role? And the answer is less and less and less. Right? So the more I stretch the time in my mind, the more I'm empowering myself to let go, to easily forget. So I stretch the time. I stretch. Just like a rubber band, right? I stretch it. I stretch it. Another realization is when in doubt, zoom out. Just zoom out. There's any confusion, I zoom out. Bird's eye view. And from that zoomed out perspective, I can reprioritize what is important, what is not. Just zoom out. And then I zoom in again. But so that's what meditation does, right? It allows me time to do all of these things, to wake up, right? To make what is the invisible important, right? It allows me time to zoom out, to stretch the time. All of these things happen internally during meditation. Right? This one I really like is, I just see the life as a cartoon show. So whatever characters are there I'm playing my role with, I just treat them as a cartoon character inside my mind. I don't tell them, but inside my mind. Right? So what happens is, we all want to watch a cartoon show. At least when we were kids, we used to love watching cartoon characters. Because even if they are yelling, it's wow, that's great, looks good. We don't feel bad, right? Because it's part of the cartoon show. This life is a great cartoon show just going on. Yeah, sometimes I participate, other times I just watch it. Just this cartoon show is going on. So I can easily detach emotionally and just forget, not allow that memory to get created, right? Another is this, when we talk about meditation. So meditation is this, I create moments of absolute reality beyond the dream world. So this realization key meditation is not just about sitting hours and hours, but it's more about creating a moment of truth, creating a moment of reality, and feeling it completely at that time. Right? I create a moment of absolute reality beyond all the recordings that I've made in the dream world. I say, okay, let me put you in a separate folder. But during this moment, I create time for that invisible being to wake up, to see the reality of the drama of life, right? And to just remember my truth, my reality. So that's what meditation is all about. And all of that, what we have discussed, it just gets activated. And so meditation is not much about the quantity, but more about the quality. Even if I meditate for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, But during that time, I've completely disconnected from the dream reality and connected to the real reality. That's what it's all about. And this was a big realization for me, because previously I felt I just need to sit hours and hours in meditation, which is also good. But then those hours should contain experience of reality. Otherwise, it may not help me transform that much. But real transformation comes with this. Even 1 minute, if I've experienced myself as a spiritual being, separate from this cartoon show, that 1 minute gives me power throughout the day. So again, the focus is on quality. And I'll probably end with this last slide. I forge relationship with the one who never forgets me. The real me. The real me. You say, who am I? You say, I'm a spiritual being. The next question is, whose am I? Whose am I? So I belong to the one, the divine, who belongs to me. I may forget, but the divine never forgets me. So let me forge my relationship. So after I've forgotten everything else, I then remember. I then remember. And that relationship empowers the mind to completely let go, forget, and deepen this consciousness. And really allows me to just live like a breeze. Life is a breeze. And just do everything and forget about it, and do everything and forget about it. There's something I'm really trying to practice these days is, if I do something and then I do it to such an extent that I can easily forget about it, so that I don't remember it after I've done it. So I do a project or do something, but then let me finish it completely so that I can forget it. But that power comes from the divine. So let's just take a moment and just experience right now. I just experience the bright sun, the spiritual sun, above the clouds of doubt or worry or confusion or anything that may be clouding up the real experience of my truth. Let me just face the spiritual sun right now, the divine. And I realize that I have an eternal relationship with this being. I just come out of the dream reality. I wake up to who I am. I just rest my mind on the divine and just feel absorbed in the love, bliss of this relationship. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Thank you, angels. Thank you, Sister Madhavi.
Thank you. That was such a beautiful session. And you can definitely say, when a research scientist talks spirituality, this is how it looks like.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful, very beautiful. Um, Before I share something, I think it'll be nice to hear from others. Anybody have any comments, anything that you liked, or anything that you want to emphasize on, or any question you have for Brother Saurabh? Please go ahead. Maybe I can start. I think the whole session, I mean, I really loved it, definitely. Very powerful statements you made. First of all, I would say that you have actually relieved us from this tension of forgetfulness. Because when you forget something, you feel like, oh my gosh, I forgot, what sort of a person I am. Or, you start feeling guilty that you've forgotten something, or, you keep forgetting. But this is definitely a new learning that, someone who forgets has actually a sign of higher intelligence. I think I love that. And when you shared that, I remembered Dadi Gulzar, one of our Dadis, Dadi Gulzar. And I have actually seen her be that, where he would definitely not remember the things which are unnecessary. I've seen like only the things that she needs to register in her intellect, she registers and she focuses on that. And that's why I think she has a lot of silence. And that's why I think she is able to go into silence, into remembrance of God within no time. It's as if she's with us, but she's not registering things that are, that are not necessary for her. And so very, very powerful soul. So as you were talking about this forgetfulness, I was just remembering her. Once she was walking from this point to this point, and when she was coming back, she didn't remember, like, she just erased that memory. And so, yes, I think this thing about forgetting the unnecessary things is absolutely powerful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else would like to share or comment? Please go ahead.
Shanti Saurabh, this was very excellent session about the forget to remember. And I think I never look at that way, but now I realize it's like people are strategically thinker. They don't think in the detail. They just go and ideas became a overall reality. I'm an architect, I did my architecture, but then Leonardo da Vinci, all those people, they put the idea, and the architect, when design the building, they don't design the details, just abstract ideas put on paper, and that idea, somebody can refine it, or they move on it. So I had a similar situation at the workplace, because I'm always a strategical thinker. And my immediate supervisor is always the detail, every email, why you not did, every line she read it. And I could not comprehend with her, because my thinking is different level. And I took a zoom out, and I took a 1 week vacation. And I said, I want to give up my job, because I can't fit with every detail to remember, which is something not important. It's once a project is done, nobody remember who say what, when say. I always try to convince her this all small stuff is not important, but for her, the small stuff is important. So I'm not fitting in this. Now it's time for me to zoom out and do something different, which is more meaningful. And I think since 1.5 years, I am every night I joining with the sister Madhvi, had done marvelous job with all of us.
Wow.
I went it, and that 1 week gave me a really look at myself differently. Because sometimes you caught with your own day-to-day work and responsibility, you don't have to be, you don't think differently. You become same pattern. And then this one week, I also come across very nice book about the Think Like a Monk by the Jay Shetty. And when I'm reading the book, it's just reminding all the session I with the sister Madhvi with all the time. So somebody compile all the information in like a one book. I really enjoy your session. At least now this give me that not to remember everything is not worth it. Something is worth it, something is not worth it. And thank you very much for a nice, scientifically you show us the reasoning. I mean, like somebody said, forget, forgive, those are the reasoning, but now you show the brain and everything. And that also give a little bit more solid ground to think through it. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sudha. Yes, Marco?
Hi, how are you? I'm Shanti. Thank you for all those words that were very powerful. I really absorbed a lot, and while you were talking about the forgetting the things, I completely transport myself, like I was on top of a train, and I kept seeing the memories kind of being erased, and the train just kept going to all the way to the end. It was very powerful. Thank you very much. And also I love the way that you say the invisible becomes the visible, where you don't see things, the details are really the one who make the big picture at the end. And also, I mean, there's things that, and I heard before that the great minds don't tend to record things that they're not necessary to be recorded. Like this guy, this great mind, the one who invented the atomic bomb, he said that he doesn't need to remember the phone numbers when he has a phone book, basically.
Right.
And why? And yeah, basically that's pretty much it. Thank you for those powerful words and piece of wisdom.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. That was wonderful. Yes, Kumar.
Yeah, thank you, Saurabh, brother. Yeah, this is Kumar. Yeah, I love the topic. Actually, this is the best topic I have had so far. Everything's like I like everything, but this one is related to me. Actually, what I do most of the time. I'm the person, I don't forget things. It's been like from childhood to all the good, bad. I remember everything. If it's bad, I remember very much. Like I never forget about those things. But those things, it's causing me problems recently. Like if something happened 20 years back and I'm still thinking about it, there's no meaning for that. And I've been like, I was like always remembering those things. Now, after I talking to you about, when you show the pictures and images and everything about what's happening in the brain and everything, now it makes sense. Like, I don't need to remember all those things. I have to get rid of those things. I just have to keep the one that I need right now. So like, when something happened like 20 years back with my family member, I still remember. It's not a good stuff to remember, but still I remember and always keep it in the mind. But, like there's a very good topic today. It actually opened my eyes, like I had to forget about those things and try to keep the one that's required, like for my life. I don't want to think about the things happened 20 years back and for remembering all those. I have to forget those things. And it's a very good topic, actually. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kumar. Thank you, Kumar. Yeah, and also, like, what you said about alter your lens of reality, how you actually see, because there are things happening around, but it's your lens, how you actually capture the moments, how you've shown the brain, how brain actually works, but then the soul is the decision maker. how the soul takes the decision. Okay, I have a choice. How do I want to actually see this particular scene of the drama or whatever is going on in a negative way or in a positive way, and create that memory inside. And it's in my control to actually, take care of my storage. So that was also, very, very well explained. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And also the example of chartboard you wrote, you said like when you were little, to erase before teacher comes. That's so true. And so only when we erase, then God can actually teach us. I can hold on to what he teaches. Yeah. Very nice. Fazida or anybody else would like to say anything, share anything?
Hello, Om Shanti.
Om
This is
Shanti.
Harvansh.
Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you very much. It was wonderful session. And I would like to have Sister Madhvi, if she can do, send us on our program so we can see it again. That will be very beneficial. Thank you so much.
I will definitely send it. Yes, I'll send the link. The recording has done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So yes, thank you. And I'm taking really a lot from this session. And also the last point, I mean, also the point about emotional attachments that you shared, the large attachments, like how we keep, the larger we keep the attachments, then it's difficult to delete them. So I have to work on my attachments and for the relationship with one. Beautiful. So thank you very much. Anybody else?
Can I ask you about the cartoon you explained? I could not understand the cartoon part of all this. What is the meaning of that cartoon? Can you explain again?
Sure. Yeah. It's like there's just this feeling that when we are watching a cartoon show or a cartoon movie, it's like we really enjoy it, even if the situation or a character is yelling, for example, or chasing something. But it's like our emotions are not kind of getting altered by it, but we are in more like just enjoyment, that fun state of mind. So if I just watch life as that cartoon show, then I realize that I'm here just to enjoy. And then that there's nothing that will get registered within, That was the thought about it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. And I think many of you must be not knowing that Brother Saurabh is also a beautiful singer. He has so many talents apart from sharing this knowledge. Very talentful. So we are very, very happy to have you today. So thank you so much. And we look forward to
Sister Madhvi. Thank you, the family.